Okay, welcome back. Now that I've got some practice under my belt, I am going to use the Inkbox henna ink that I have, and I'm going to do a hand henna, which is super fun. I drew this yesterday. This is the one I'm going to do, so I'm kind of nervous because it's my hand, but I'm also excited because it's my hand and everybody will see it. So wish me luck. Let's try this out. I think the biggest problem for when I was doing my leg was that I literally, obviously I've never done henna before. On top of that though, there's like, I don't know how to describe it, but when you're using your dominant hand, so for me I'm right-handed, I was going onto the left side and I was having like a lot of issues getting my left side drawn because it's really difficult to do. So the thing that I'm worried about with my wrist, though, that I might move that up a little bit. The picture has it drawn, like, basically right in the crease of my hand. I don't want to put it in the crease because I'm afraid I'll mess it up. So why don't we I'll do it here. This is where I'm going to start it. So the biggest thing for me when I was doing the leg henna was the fact that these little pieces are so difficult to draw. The little petals that you see people drawing all the time. But now that I've practiced a little bit, I've found a couple of techniques that help. Like one, you let the little line drip because there's like a little extra string of henna that will come up when you're drawing. And I talk about it frequently today so far. I've talked about it a bunch. But if you let that just come out and then drag your bottle in the shape that you want, once it's like, oh, this is so hard to describe, but once it's like attached to your skin, it'll go where you want it to. But if it's not like attached down yet, it will kind of fly wherever it wants to go. So if you hold that string out, you let the string come out of the bottle like puff paint or hot glue, and then you let it fall just enough to where it'll attach to your skin, and then you draw your shape so that the string doesn't affect your lines, so you can still draw them. So if you can kind of see what I'm doing here, I think what I've figured out is you manipulate it as it comes out versus actually drawing it. You have to like push it. Okay, so I don't know why I just blew on that. That's silly. Now, more experienced people can just draw pictures, mandala pictures and images, which is what I was talking about in my other videos. I am not experienced. I do not know how to do that. Like, I don't have the experience, really, is just all it is, to just draw them without a picture. So I'm going off of a picture, and eventually my goal is to be able to just draw them freehand without looking at anything. I think it's amazing when people can do that. The thing that I'm thinking about is I just bought this bottle of ink. It's brand new, right? But I feel like I'm going through a lot of it. So if anyone knows how much of this you're supposed to go through, like, comment and let me know, because I think I may be applying way too much. When that first design that I did on my leg dries, I'll be able to tell whether I have way too much, or, you know, like the skinnier lines that there were, the ones that have barely any ink on them, like what I'm doing right now. I don't know if those are gonna dye the same as like the really thick lines, and I think I was using way too much ink. So fingers crossed that I was, so that I don't have to buy ink every 2 seconds. I also have a clothing steamer that I own. It's like a little, looks kind of like a vacuum, but it steams your clothes to iron them. And what I did with my leg is I put the steamer on like the lightest setting possible, held it like 8 inches away from my skin, and I steamed it because I read a few things online about steaming and how it's gonna help it basically work better. It'll help the dye set. The other thing is, once you've done your henna tattoo, be mindful of where your body is, because I already messed up mine a little bit on my leg because I hit it with my hand. And I think it's actually touching the edge of the table right now. So I just moved it, but something that I'll need to get used to is the fact that it stays wet for a long time. I'm sort of like not loving my style so far, but the more that I practice, the better I'll get. And that's the thing you gotta remember, is it's different than any other type of drawing, because you're not just drawing, you're literally like painting an intricate picture on somebody's skin. Skin is movable, the paint isn't like stationary either, so you got to take into account all those things, and it's very difficult, but I'm excited to see how it turns out, especially now that I'm brave enough to do my hand, because I was like not brave enough before. Also, the other thing, make sure you wash whatever area that you're tattooing, because it needs to be clean, or the ink won't like dye your skin if it's not clean. All right, I will be back